Pledge of allegiance, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, guest, and thank you everyone for being here. First thing we have, of course, is the agenda. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda? Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Any discussion on that motion? Okay. All in favor of the motion then, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Then we have attached the minutes of the meeting. They're a little bit different than the ones that were previously emailed because of the plat. That second plat is added on here that we acted on. Any other additions or corrections to the minutes?
I see none, and I'll make a motion to approve these minutes.
I will second that.
Okay, it's moved and second to approve the May 9th minutes that we have here. Any discussion on that motion? Okay. Hearing none, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. First item on our agenda then is appropriations resolution. Courtney, go ahead, explain our appropriations resolution.
If you remember the last time we did this, we left a 1%. So this is the funds and departments that we need the remaining 1% in. The court administration, we're already over on that. Those are like sheriff's fees and things like that. They're payments that we make to the court, so there's really not much we can do about that. Historical Society, that's a nonprofit. Those are committed funds through our budget, so we need to do that. And Department 99 is a lot of the nonprofits are in there as well. General supplemental, that's mainly elections and FICA and IPERS for Service Area 1 departments. Mental health, case management, that's mainly for us to be able to pay our last payment to the region. We're kind of holding off on that until we do this. Rural services, engineer, that's there's a $20,000 check that gets written from rural services to the secondary road fund. County library, again, is committed funds. Department 99, same thing, committed funds. Local option, that's budgeted money with the TIF. And now that we know exactly what we're getting for that, we can do the remaining on that. Attorney collection, those are his fees. He's got about $4,000 left in his budget, so that's why that's included. We've got the TIF fund there again, since we know what we're collecting. And then conservation capital. I don't know that they'll spend that 1%, but being it's their capital fund, he did ask for the remaining, so it's kind of a brief description of them. And I did check with the state auditors, because normally when we do one, we just say the departments. We don't break it down like this, but since we're not doing all of them, this is probably the clearest way, so we know who's getting the 1% and who's not. Otherwise, all the other departments look like they were in really good shape. I don't know.
Good.
Unless something comes up, I can't foresee anybody coming in and asking for that.
Okay, that's good to hear, and I
Yeah.
appreciate you checking with the state auditor to make sure that it was handled according to Hoyle or correctly.
Yep.
I forget on the region, do we make quarterly contributions, or are they biannual?
Quarterly.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any other questions or concerns on our appropriations resolution?
Question in the corner.
Virginia?
What is the total, you know?
Dollar amount? I don't believe we've calculated that, Virginia.
Okay, this comes out of reserves,
No,
No.
just shifting around?
no, it's just, it came out of the budget. It's just, we appropriate the money, you know.
Of that 99, that 1% that was held back?
Correct.
And
And this is 1% in these areas.
And none of the regular departments are gonna use that 1%, Virginia, so overall, it's a good thing, I think. Well, it is.
It would be a fraction of the $18 million expenditures.
Why-
Budgeted expenditures.
Why are the nonprofits
Well,
getting the 1%?
well, because if we made a commitment to them for X amount, we're going to give them the X amount and not withhold anything. We're gonna
Yeah,
make,
But you're withholding the other ones, and they're doing it.
but,
They're
but
making their budget.
and that's fine, but the nonprofits, if we were going to underfund them, we would have done that in the original budget.
We could have cut it by 1%.
Yeah, we could have cut it then, but that wasn't what we elected to
That
do.
wasn't
We
the
elected to
intention.
fund them at their stated amounts or whatever we agreed to during the fiscal year 16 budget.
And if another department, like an auditor, for example, if they needed that 1%, they would just come to us and say, hey, 99% won't work this year because, explain the reason why, and then we'd make our decision.
Well, I agree with that part of it, but.
Okay. Well, it's a little different, I think Mark explained it pretty good.
It's no different than paying your daughter's tuition. If the tuition's $10,000, you can't send Iowa State a check for $9,900.
I didn't send them any check.
Well,
That's my daughter.
that's good for you.
Mhm.
I wasn't as fortunate.
We're talking Virginia, you need a better example, Mark. Thank you for your question, Virginia, but we don't have a total amount, but I think that does explain why we have treated the non-departmentals differently than the departments who have more flexibility in their budgeting and that type of thing. Okay. Any other questions, discussion concerning the appropriations resolution? Okay. If there are none, is there a motion to approve the appropriations resolution?
So moved.
And I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the appropriations resolution. We'll have a roll call vote, please.
Bach?
Yes?
Beardmore?
Yes.
Shetler?
Yes.
Miners?
Yes.
Dancer?
No.
Motion carries.
Okay. Motion carried.
I do have this for signature.
Okay. We'll let that get signed. Next, we'll work on a couple, two plats. Right. We have two plats. I didn't bring the pictures. Both of them involve buildings and pre-established acreages, if you use that word. Is there any concern about any of either of the two plats?
No, I think the one is, looks like they're just doing change some of the boundary lines in the one corner because of the existing buildings there. The other one looks like they're splitting up an acreage into two, is what it looked like to me.
The one in Union Township is a 10-acre acreage, and they're splitting off
Splitting it
the
up.
portion that has buildings on it.
Yeah, well, there's buildings on the other part too.
Yeah, so it appeared to be a house on this one.
Yeah,
I'm suspecting it's a.
but they're splitting them too, the way it looks.
Yes, they are. It's a 10-acre parcel, and they're splitting a pretty small part off, actually. That's correct.
There's no
I have no
questions.
problem with them. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Motion has made, and that motion has been seconded to approve the two plats. Any further discussion? Okay, we'll vote on the motion. All in favor then, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, next we have a Veterans Commission appointment. I know we've had some people approach a couple of the board members or a person wanting the job. And also Louis has provided us with a list of people who've responded to a note in his newsletter. Today we're on the agenda to appoint a Veterans Commission person, and this appointment will be effective on July 1st, 2016. The current person is going to serve out their term.
I would make a motion that we appoint Jim Bergman from Templeton. He's approached me and he's very interested in it, and I think he's the type of person that he'll follow through on those issues.
I will second that motion. I know Jim serves quite well on E911 and EMA boards, and so I would believe that he would serve just as well on the VA.
Okay, very good. We have a motion on the floor to appoint Jim Bruggeman to the Veterans Affairs Commission effective July 1st. Is there any discussion on that motion?
Just a quick question, who lets him know, who notifies him? Is that something that we ask Louis to do, or do one of us do it?
I can let him know.
You'll do it? Okay.
Gene, yeah, I think it should come from a member of this board because we are making the appointment.
Okay, and you'll let Louis know too then?
Okay, Gene, let Louis and Jim know. Okay.
You know, I will say, you know, Jim's been in the military in some shape or form for most of his adult life, so.
Okay, all right. Okay, the motion is to appoint Jim Bruggeman effective July 1st. I'm going to call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, next we have the City of Dedham lease attached. And this is for a parcel of ground that's being used around the ball field. John Warden has prepared it for us, and apparently the city has looked at it. Do we have any discussion concerning it? I would prefer that they sign it before we do.
And I do have a signed copy.
Okay.
I just.
Okay.
I had sent
Okay,
that
that's
before.
copies.
All right,
I didn't send
my
you the
copy
signed
didn't
one.
have their signature. Okay.
No, They have signed this.
All right, they have signed off on it. Okay, that changes it a little bit. Very good. Do we have any concerns about this?
I
I would just make, my only concern is that I hope they're aware of that liability insurance.
Okay.
I brought that out. in my
They're aware of it?
discussion. Yeah,
Okay, 'cause
yeah.
I thought that might be a little higher than what they're normally.
Yeah, no, I talked to Bob Sporer, and Russ and Bob, they met last Monday evening, and I talked to Bob on Wednesday via phone, and they have no problems with anything that's in that lease, so.
In regards to that, when I read it, I think it strengthens our position because we've always had the property there. It's kind of been, the usage of it is not going to change very much, but now there's an additional layer of liability insurance between us and the public. So I think actually having this lease in place improves the county position.
Yeah, it's a good thing. And it's a win-win for both of
Yeah.
us.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, my only concern was you know, if they had that much liability, that's what I was.
Nice.
Yeah, and Marty went down into the district and visit with them. Was that a city council meeting or just in?
I just visited they had a city council meeting last Monday, and I talked to Bob last Monday, and then I called him back on Thursday.
Okay.
And
Right.
they have no problems with it.
Very good.
I'd like to thank Marty for doing all the legwork on it.
Absolutely. Okay, so that's the lease. Are there any other questions or concerns? And I don't know if John had anything additional to point out to us. Okay. Is there a motion to authorize, has it got the chairperson's signature maybe?
I'd make a motion to the
Yeah.
effect to sign the lease with the city of Dedham.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's moved and seconded to authorize the chairperson to sign the lease with the city of Dedham. Any discussion on the motion on the floor? All right, we'll vote then. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Just another thing where county can be in a position to help these smaller communities, I think. It's always good.
Okay.
It's
Dave
a
gonna
busy
be here?
ballpark down there too, isn't
It is.
Always has been. Is Dave gonna come in for drains?
That was my understanding. I didn't speak with him. I spoke with Becky on Friday, but
Okay. Let's go down to the manure management annual updates. We have quite a few of them. The first four are all for new fashion pork. And each of them has the identical, they've each added acres, they've done manure analysis, and they've changed the crop rotation. And the new fashion pork farms are Farm 318, which is Elite Nursery 318 in Section 31 of Cedar Township in Greene County. Farm 305, Elite Finisher 305, Section 5 in East Township. Farm 301, Elite Finisher 301, Section 34 Grant Township. And Farm 304, Elite Finisher 304, Section 6 Union Township. Next, we have CCL in Section 14 of Grant Township. There were no changes on that one. Hearst Farms has Site 1 and 2.
Cohors.
Should be an O instead of U.
That's
Yeah.
how they spelled it on the form.
It's spelled with a U
Yeah.
on the form as well.
It's probably
Really?
wrong, but.
Yeah.
I
it's,
caught that on the form here. It has a U. I saw that too. And, yeah,
Maybe he wants to differentiate
on both of them.
It's
Cohurst
Or-
Farms,
Or maybe
H-U-R-S-T.
he didn't catch it.
Mhm.
He didn't catch it, cause
I'll bet not.
it's OR, it should be OR.
Yeah, but I wasn't
That's
gonna
right.
change it because they'd already signed it.
Yeah, we might wanna bring that up to him.
Leave it as it is.
Should we correct that or not?
I would notify them.
I
mean,
can notify
that's
Twin
basically
Lakes,
illegal.
because Twin Lakes is who prepared it. I just didn't wanna change the form because
Okay.
they'd already signed it.
Let's go ahead and approve the document, if that's okay with the board, and
Yeah.
you will inform them that
I'll contact Twin Lakes. 'cause
the
they're ones-
spelling of Cohorst is incorrect
Just get ahold of Becky.
on their form.
Or see
On their
see if it is incorrect.
Yep.
But
It's OR.
Here, just allow you to change it.
Well, the DNR gets that too. so
Yeah,
I
it's
doubt
illegal.
they're gonna let me change it,
It's
but for
illegal.
next time, next year, they'll
Yeah,
be right.
yeah.
They can get it changed in their system.
Other than the name correction, there's no change to either one of theirs. And they are respectively Site 1 in Section 16 of Wheatland Township and Site 2 in Section 32 of Wheatland Township. Next is Jason Opperman, Site Section 29 Washington Township, no changes there. And the last one is Jurgens Brothers LLC, Bladen Pork, Section 17 Union Township, and that's their manure management plan. Okay. Oh, everybody caught that one?
The paper even caught that one.
The paper even.
Well, I caught it too, I just didn't feel comfortable changing it without, it had already been signed.
Okay. I'm not sure if Dave is coming, and that's a short meeting, so I think what we're gonna do is go ahead with committee reports, and if he doesn't get here, not sure what we'll do. Who would like to start with committee reports?
I certainly can. Mine are brief.
Go ahead.
Tuesday, we had the ambulance board meeting, and it started off with accounts for collection. They are down to about $8,700 that were turned over to the bridge and to collections, which is very good. Inside the director's report, Pat had reported that they're sitting at 73% of projected revenue, with about 83% of the budget, or 83% of the budget year gone. So revenue still continues to lag, and expense is pretty much right on at about 82%. So there's some catching up to do before the end of the year. EMS week will be this coming week, so you'll see some events covered in the media. And then there was also the potential for a grievance issue. The two sides did meet. Dr. Bob Vanami, who is the ambulance board chair, sat in on those, and they went very well. They don't expect to be any follow-up to it, unless the need would arise, but I wasn't let know that when they were doing it. I think someone just kind of forgot to contact me, so it went well, or maybe it was best I didn't attend, but needless to say, it went over very well, and so there's nothing followed up to do there. So, let's see, then the next meeting is set again for June 14th, and other than the revenue running behind, all systems go at the ambulance. Does the board still feel they would like to visit with Pat, prior to the end of the year? Because I was met with a little bit of resistance there, so
Absolutely. I do.
I just want to make sure that that's still on. So I'll see to it that he tries to line up, a time on the agenda sometime soon. Then on Wednesday, I attended the supervisor candidate forum as well, and that was my week. This week is a rather busy week, as I've got childcare tonight. Childcare board, by the way. I'm always on childcare duty. Childcare board meets tonight, and then tomorrow night is the RDG meetings, and I'm gonna try to go to both of them. I'm gonna try. And I think they're at 4 and 7, correct?
Yes.
Yep. And then on Wednesday will be the Coalition of Human Services meeting. That was my
Okay.
week.
Thank you, Mark. Dean, you want to keep it going?
Okay, yeah, I can. I had the Conservation Board meeting on Monday of last week. It was a very brief meeting, probably one of the shortest meetings we've had that I can recall. They had reported the approval of the audit was going to be Tuesday, and on the Sauk Rail Trail, the DOT audit, and so that will then close that project. There was just a brief update on the farm lease. They had let Jim Hydoff know about their decision and got no word back from Jim, so I guess it's gonna stay the way it is. There was an update on the Coon Rapids campground. They got it pretty well ready to go. They need the seed grass. The total sites down there at Coon Rapids will be 20, and 8 of those will be new. Just a brief update on the Sauk Rail Trail boundary. I have heard nothing from John on that, so I'm not sure exactly where that's at. I'll try to get a hold of him this week. This would be with the encroachment issue in Maple River. Other than that, they gave a presentation on the programs for the summer at Swan Lake. I can pass that around. Other than that, they were going to do some tree planting along the Sauk Rail Trail with donated trees. And that was pretty much it. That's the only meeting I had for the week, and this week I've got the RDG thing and Board of Health tomorrow night, so.
How close are they gonna plant the trees? Because we cut hundreds of them down to redo the trail around Swan Lake.
I think they're gonna keep them as far away as they possibly can, simply because of the fact mostly because of the fact they don't want the roots to
Undermine it.
undermine and break up the trail.
Where at on the Sauk Trail? Around,
Well, I think they were gonna do this between north of Maple River.
see, if they get out too far, then the farmer's not gonna love it either, because there's trees that are gonna grow and they're gonna start encroaching over the farmland too, so. I don't know where that sweet spot is, but,
Yeah, because I'm not sure either.
Yeah.
I think they want to try to get as much, it is nice when you go through even around Swan Lake, when it's covered. It is nice in the summertime to have a canopy on the trail. I think that's kind of what they're looking to do. Probably on the Sauk Rail Trail, plant more on the west side of the trail so that it shades.
don't get me wrong, I'm an active tree planter myself. I haven't done a lot of them ready this spring, but I'm just concerned that we had to take out a lot to redo the trail, and then if you're talking about between here and there, I have taken out trees too, like in the fence line, at the county farm because they're not go good with agriculture. So I'm just concerned where they plant the trees. Okay.
That's a good point.
Okay, what's coming up?
That was my week, and I had the Board of Health tomorrow night in the RDG.
Go ahead, Gene.
My week was basically the press release at 1 o'clock with the housing study, and then also with the, oh wait, I'm in the wrong week here. Yeah, but anyway, that was Monday. And then I was at the candidate forum last Wednesday, and this week I will be with the housing study and have a CADC meeting at noon. And then Thursday, nothing, and Friday I think is Cherokee again. So that'll be my week.
Do you have a way up there?
That's it. Yeah, got it lined up.
Okay, we'll go ahead and finish committee reports. Go ahead, Marty.
Okay, Monday night had Wesco board meeting over in Denison. Talked a little bit about the transition house in Vale, the old priest rectory. Just getting things put together there to hopefully open that by the 1st of August. And then we had election of officers. I was nominated president. Mike Dahm from Denison was elected vice president. Donna Lyons is elected treasurer, and Bernil Pruill was elected secretary. And that was pretty much that meeting, short meeting. It was our annual meeting. It was at Hillside Grill. And then on Tuesday, had a solid waste board meeting. First item there, we discussed just made the decision on the employee wages and benefits for 16-17. There's 11 employees there. We averaged a 3% salary increase there, and the insurance went up 11.91%. Also accepted the bid for the CPA firm for our annual audits. We had 3 bids, and we approved Olson Muehlbauer for a 3-year contract, and that was decided. I had an update on the fence that blew down last fall in the wind. That was redone and that was finished. They're working with Tiefenthaler Ag Line for crushed concrete on the driveway to keep that solid, to keep things moving with the rainy weather we've had. The next thing, we talked a little bit about the chamber coffee, the 17th of June from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. It will be an open house up at the landfill. And then on Thursday, had a meeting with Neil out at Mallard View discussing the future of Mallard View. And we visited with Neil, and I visited with them a little bit. I think they're gonna be on the agenda for next Monday and they're gonna discuss what we wanna do there. Also had a little bit of discussion on Thursday with Clay Adams as far as trying to do something with the transition house. If we have overflow in Vale, to bring them over. He thought that would be kind of a conflict due to the revenue or the funding through the region, and he's got some concerns there. He's gonna kind of throw it around a little bit and see if he can come up with another decision and kind of give us some ideas of what we can do with Mallard View. So that's kind of on the table at this point. So now I'll let Neil add on to that if he wants to add anything. This week I've got the RDG meeting tomorrow night. I'm gonna go out with Dave this afternoon on some culvert issues. We got couple of road culverts that are undermining. And then Thursday is Region 12.
Okay, thanks, Marty. All right, Monday, had the radio and the newspaper, and I was focused on the business tax credits, and it's kind of interesting. After the day after the newspaper article came out, they had people showing up at the assessor's office who needed to redo their business tax credit because something had changed on their title that they weren't aware of. So I just as a whole, whenever we do radio and newspaper things, people do hear and do get results. So that was Monday. Also on Monday, along with Jane, attended the press release for the housing, and the newspapers there, and did a very good job of covering it, and had a nice article in the paper on it as well. And then on Thursday, as Marty said, I met with at Mallard View with him on that, and they are going to be here at 9 a.m. next week. They're on our agenda, and they are looking at all kinds of alternatives. And most of the alternatives of what they do will involve the structure out there, but not all. So their main thing is survival, and they're concerned more about the business. And the building is also important to them, but if doing something else that doesn't involve the building would be the right thing to do, that's what they would do, I guess. Okay, and then, coming up this week, this housing assessment thing at 4 and 7, it's at the Harold Bureau room there. I'll be attending that. I've got the Coalition of Human Services at noon, and at 1 o'clock I've got a local planning meeting this week. So that's my week. Oh, a couple other things that I'll cover after the meeting. Okay, we'll jump back to the agenda then, and Dave, we're ready for you. You have some drains here.
Morning.
Hi, David.
Only got one drain. Kirk Stewart called in about drain 105 in section 29 in Nice. There's a hole about 50 feet from the roadway culvert.
Section what?
Section 29 in Nice.
29.
Okay.
Okay.
No,
Secondary roads, be doing the repair there.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Does it look wet there?
Yeah, there's been a lot of water coming down. It's probably still running today.
That's a repeat offender.
Disturbing call from the landowner this morning about drain 89, a quicksand drain.
Ooh.
It's got another place that's acting up. Spent thousands of dollars on that drain over the last probably 30 years.
That'd be just south of where we did the repair last fall, wasn't
It
it?
would be, be the next landowner.
Yeah, to the
Hopefully,
south.
Last fall we did stays, praying that would stay fixed. It was rather difficult.
Or a bunch of concrete.
That's what I told him this morning. This blow out somewhere else.
First, yeah.
But you need footings.
The part we did do is holding up at this time, yeah.
So far, so
Good.
good, yeah.
Okay.
But if we let this one go, that one will blow again.
Probably will.
Okay. All right, so we have one drain then.
I'll make a motion to approve that drain. Repair.
It's been moved and second to approve the repair of drain 105 in section 29 in East Township. Any discussion on that? Okay, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Anything else from secondary roads, Dave?
I do have that resolution. That will be able to see.
Yeah, we haven't approved that yet. We voted on it last week, but we didn't have the resolution physically in front of us, so we thought to be safe, we should add it back to the agenda and approve it this week. Anything on here different than what we talked about, Dave?
I have a question. Should, on that list of people that are authorized to go in there, should that also be emergency personnel? Like fire or EMS?
Should be.
But do you give them a key to that gate?
We haven't in the past.
You have, they just use the bolt cutters if they have to. In the past, has that been added on any of the other ones that we've done in the past?
Not that I can remember, Jim.
But I mean, I would think EMS and
This has got any peace officers.
that's got peace officers and public employees whose duty is to supervise the performance of the road, but doesn't say public employees. I mean, something I just seen last night when I read this.
It's a good question. I just don't know, again, if you did it for this one, I mean, you probably have to do it for all of them, and then I don't know how they would manage the keys.
I don't either. We have enough trouble. with
Well,
the
and maybe
last
if
ones.
they just.
They'd always be on the wrong rig, or they, maybe it's a
Yeah.
coon responder, and it should have been a Manning responder, and,
More likely the gate's gonna be open if somebody gets down in there or something.
Probably.
but
I
you're
mean,
right, GPS is gonna show that road's open.
Well, and the thing is, if somebody's back there farming, you know, there says they
Yeah.
don't have an accident back there or something, and if you get a goddamn fire, combine catches on fire or whatever.
Did you
Perhaps-
drive through the gate?
Huh?
Did you drive through the gate for the block?
But most of the time they got bolt cutters, that's what they would do.
If they're back there farming, they're probably going.
More than likely, the gate
And
will
the
be
gates
open.
would probably open,
Yeah.
You're right.
At that time, yeah.
From
But I
one
mean-
direction.
Yeah.
But I mean, it really does that, you probably should have permission to get in there though.
Yeah. I sure wouldn't object to that.
Well-
Providing them with keys, I think would be,
Yeah, I'm
Logically-
not saying that.
Logically, for anything to happen, somebody'd have to be there, and they'd have to have the gate open, and obviously, any operator could let anybody else in they wanted to, so I think it would flow pretty naturally in most cases. Can't guarantee that, obviously.
Mhm.
And they're currently entering private property today anyways, all the time, anytime there's
Sure.
a need. You're bringing up a good point, it's just,
Well, and
I wouldn't wanna
haven't-
overthink it
I have
either.
never seen one of these forms, but that's why I was asking if it was on the other one.
yeah, pretty well standard resolution.
Okay.
that we use.
Well, that's fine.
Change
I
the
just,
name and location.
It's a good point, Phil.
yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Any other relevant discussion? Thank you,
I
Gene.
have to do that, no, I just had to do that so it showed that I read it.
We believe you. Not, I would just entertain a motion to authorize chairperson to sign this form.
Also move to approve the resolution for the level B to C road.
I will second that.
Okay, it's been moved second. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor then, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Anything else, Dave?
That's it.
All right, well, thank you very much.
You want to pass that down? Do you mind looking into that, standing water in a ditch? Apparently, there's been kind of some changes to the property owner there. They did, so now the water kind of stands there, and the way I understand it is the pipe is below the creek, or above the creek. So, I don't know if a ditch cleaning would be in order there or not, but I'm not sure that would even help it.
Standing water seems to be kind of an order of the day.
Well, but look at the distance there.
Yeah.
It's not just in one area. I mean, I'd just look into it, Dave. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
Told him we would.
Did we tell you about it?
Sure.
Fine.
Okay.
Might not be a problem either.
Yeah, that's, it kind of seemed kind of hard to tell with the weather we've been
I
having.
think mosquitoes have everybody on edge this summer, so.
Yeah, drainage keeps you pretty active when you have,
The rain we've been having.
yeah, that's for darn sure. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Have a good week.
Have a dry
Thanks, Dave.
week.
Thanks, Dave.
Bye-bye.
See you, Dave.
Just a couple things I want to bring up. In the mailbox this week, and this week, we got a letter from the Department of the Interior, and what it has to do is about wind turbines from Mid-American Energy Company have been reported to have killed certain endangered species, or such as eagles and certain bats. And the public is not liking that, and they're asking for comments from the public, and they have provided us with a environmental impact statement comment form if we would like to send any comments into them. And I've previously been on the internet and seen where a lot of people are up in arms about these, referring to these with eagles in particular, that they want every eagle reported. I think the main thing is there are just a lot more eagles around than there were before. And
So it's a numbers game.
Yep.
And there's a lot more wind turbines around than there was before, so they are gonna clash.
And I don't think the eagle is no longer listed on the Endangered Species Act, but it's protected, as they say here, by the Bald Eagle and Gold Eagle Provision Act. So they're a protected animal, but they're not actually even endangered population-wise anymore. So if we don't want to make any comment referring to that, we could I would like to make a comment, kind of along with, my observation is to be very minimal impact and huge amount of benefit from them, and I would like to respond in that, in that context, but I need the permission of the board to do that. And if, of course, if you disagree and that's not representative of the board, I won't make those comments. Are there any thoughts?
What are your,
I agree with you.
what are the comments?
I just comment that the environmental impact of the issues are very minimal compared to the great benefit obtained through, renewable energy. And I'd like to comment with Eagles, the increased population is the big thing. I'm sure there's been more of them killed by cars than ever, just because there's more eagles around.
I have no problem with that comment.
Does
Yeah, I
anyone
don't
have any
problem.
difference
I
of
don't have any
opinion or
problem with that
problem
either.
with having the board represented in that context?
I can't think of what it would be. I mean,
Okay, I'll do that then. I just didn't, it's not my,
It's an unfortunate situation.
yes, it
but-
is.
But I see an eagle a day,
do you really?
yeah.
Okay.
I don't even see a pheasant a day.
Well, pheasants are harder to come by than eagles right now, I
That's what
think.
it seemed
Oh, I
like.
didn't see a lot of them.
I'll follow up on that.
Pheasant?
Oh, yeah.
I'll follow up on that, but obviously no chairperson should act like the Lone Ranger on their own thoughts, so I
No.
want to bring it up to the board as a total here before we take any action at all.
I'm gonna just keep a copy of this, I'll just pass it around real quick, but I'll take a copy after the meeting, but Carroll County is no longer the leader in the number of wind turbines. And there's a lot of wind turbines out there.
Yes,
A
there
lot
are.
more than 100 we have. I
We
think
have
now we're at
106
106 now, right?
No, we had 123, I think we have
Oh, we have
132.
100. Yeah, that is
I believe we
right.
have 132
So
now.
that number's not correct.
No. I think maybe those are Mid-American Energy. Is that what, I don't know what, I saw that too. We have, I think we have 132.
Yeah, we have 120, we have 100, we have 23, and then we have 9.
Nine down there.
Yeah, I said 6, but that's right.
132, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, and just a thought that came up when we talked about John Worden. He was gonna file an easement for that property with the Renzi property on that septic line. Has that been done, do you know?
Not that I'm aware of, but I can certainly email him and ask.
Yeah, why don't you, he was gonna do it, and we approved him to do it, and he said he'd do it, and it may actually be done. I just want to follow up to make sure it didn't
I'll
get.
look before I email him.
Yeah, that'd even be better. Okay, and then one other thing that caught my attention in the paper, and since it was a newspaper, it had to be right. But Blue Cross Blue Shield is intending on raising their rates 30 to 40% for people who aren't self-insured. That was in the Des Moines Register. Hmm? That came out last Friday, so I just thought that would be of interest to us and apparently not affect us because we're self-insured, but 30 to 40% increase they're anticipating.
Won't impact anybody that's got an employee or provided insurance.
Yeah, okay, so I thought that was a big deal when I read that anyway. Okay,
Sounds like the radio's got just good information as the paper.
okay. Courtney, what do you have for next week?
Dean, you're gonna be gone next week?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. We have Bill Day, we got Mallard View right away, and I'm gonna try to set up a conference call with Greene County, on that joint drain. They're wanting to
9:13.
do an assessment to get that paid for. I'm not sure why we didn't do that when we,
Did the original?
yeah, when we started talking about the bills, but anyway, Michelle wanted to know if they said normally their board will do the assessment so they don't have to carry the debt, and I said, well, that's normally how we try to do it too, so I'll see if I can get time lined up to meet with them over the phone and
Okay.
get the assessment done. That's one where we'll collect it and then we write them a check.
Okay, very good.
So
All
far,
right.
that's it, I think.
Any other business that needs to come before the board today? Any comments from those in attendance?
We were talking about health insurance. There was also a court case that said it was unconstitutional for the government to fund Medicaid. Is that gonna affect the county? in any way?
I'm not sure, Virginia. I think that court case was and it's been appealed if it's one we're talking about, so nothing has happened yet. It's still status quo, but there was an issue that the money to fund some of that was never appropriated by Congress. And it couldn't be done by, just by the act of the president, apparently. I didn't get the details on that, but I know if we're talking about the same one, that course case has been appealed and it's without effect at this current
I expect
time.
it to be appealed, but
Yeah, okay.
I just wondered if it was gonna affect the county in any way.
Might affect case management and some of our clients and consumers to a certain extent, you know. But remains to be seen.
Des Moines Water Works was on KCCI last, I think it was Thursday night. That's delayed now till June of 2017.
Doesn't surprise me.
Doesn't me either. Lawyer's gonna work that for all it's worth.
Okay.
Maybe if it doesn't get thrown out of court first.
You know, play it, well, they can.
All right. Any other business? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. It's non-debatable. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.